baby, make like I do with the punches and roll me home.
Yeah, Toking with Topher. Time for Toking with Topher again. I got Scotty Gherkin with me today. Some special guests. I got Wyatt running the board. He's our intern from Gruen, so that's why you see all the great Gruen products that we have out here.
He's got a nice
He's like,
display
hey,
up
I
for
want to make
himself.
sure that he wants to pump his company, so we got Gruen stuff out all day. And I got a very special guest who's not only a guest, but he's also a very close friend of mine. We've got some history together.
I'm sorry,
and I know, right? I've been sorry for him. I'm excited to have him on the show because the guy's he's basically the mayor of Missouri cannabis is what I've pretty much coined him. The mayor of Missouri cannabis. Kevin Riggs, thank you for being on our show today because you're just a wealth of information and good looking guy too. Look at him. He looks good.
He's a handsome fellow.
Handsome guy.
Compared to you guys.
Yeah, well, we set the bar pretty low.
Yeah.
We're radio people, dude. We're not supposed to be on the cameras. Come on.
I get it.
Today's pre-rolls. So it is Tuesday, and we do film on Tuesdays. And our boys at Teal, they do a fine product, and I do Teal Tuesdays. So Missouri Wild Alchemy is sponsoring our pre-roll of the day. We got Teal Tuesday from them, and today we have Dager, which is a hybrid, and it is. Oh, check it out! Look at this. Aha, labeling laws. We got a new tool for that. It is 22. Yeah, that's right. 22.
Might light it.
Ooh, be careful. 22.77% THCA. So it'll probably be about 18, 17%. And then we got another one today. Is what do we got here? Ice cream cake. This is gonna be an indica. Yeah, ice cream cake, and it is boom, 1910. So we were rolling about 15. On that, 30%. So let's slide this up and see what we got. There's a lot of things we could talk about with Kevin because he has knowledge on every facet of the cannabis industry. But what I find the most interesting conversations that I've had with you, Kevin, has been around how you got this done in the state of Missouri. Like, what did you do to get it even medically done in this state? It seems like an impossible feat, but you did it. You were a part of the team, and I got to know about this.
Yeah, so first of all, the team is the important part. I mean, there's a lot of people who put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into getting to where we got to, and just, minor background. We came, Belief, which is our holding company that owns Suede Dispensaries, Since Cannabis, Amend Cannabis, and have just now released Kuko, which is kind of a little bit a newer brand that's kind of a little medium price range, if you will. Right. Giving people an option for some good product. So we got involved in the industry when Missouri passed their first CBD bill, which was written by then State Senator Eric Schmidt, who is now our U.S. Senator in Washington, D.C., and has become an ally for safe banking and some other things within the industry. So it was really positive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he passed he wrote and we passed the first CBD bill in the state of Missouri. The state of Missouri passed it in 2015. 2016, the licenses were granted for CBD. There was 2 issued. One was for us at Belief. So we started in this medicinal CBD world in Missouri years before anything was, going to happen or we thought was going to happen. So we've, to the extent we can get involved in it, we got involved in it early, right? So we, sometimes being old is good. People think if you've been around for a long time, you're wise or you're old. So I don't know which is better. I most days am neither. So we've been involved in it since then, right? And we're very blessed fighting the battle on the CBD side. We only had 100, maybe 150 patients in the state of Missouri that qualified for that. And, we had a pretty significant investment, but we understood where this was moving and what we were going to try to do next, which is this, by the way. So,
yeah, right. Right. You always got to take the time out for the Teal Tuesday. Pre-roll of the day.
Thank you to Adolphus.
Yeah,
thanks.
Thank you.
ABV,
my boy.
For the Teal guys and the Groon people, for that matter.
I know. These guys are great.
So, moving forward, the movement came on, to get medical approved. Got the signatures. The group worked very, very hard, raised a lot of money, went through all these steps.
So you say signatures. I mean, you're talking like on the streets. I need you
Hundreds
to.
of thousands
Oh, man.
of signatures
Yeah.
to get.
So every time I signed that at
approved.
like Schnucks or something like that, that was part of what that. You know what I mean?
Wow,
Because
right,
I hit a
right.
couple of those.
Yeah,
and I'm
no,
like,
but I
well,
know-
which one is this? Because I want to make sure it's right.
I mean, look, I'm not a professional DJ like you guys, but your signature only counts once.
Oh, really?
No
We
matter
use that
how,
term lightly.
Yeah. Well, however you want to take it, but yeah. So it was a lift, and you think about this. There was thousands of people across the state getting signatures and working very hard to make sure that we had this opportunity. Right. So it's a really long, involved story, but just to fast forward to where we're at right now, going through the steps of struggling through the CBD world with 150 patients across the state, right? Growing, extracting, and manufacturing CBD product.
Wow.
Let's just start at the first thing at this, right? So
First of all, that's boring. I mean, to me, that seems like
I'm
fucking
going to
boring.
tell you why it wasn't boring.
That's
at the
where
time.
I started.
Yeah,
So-
let me tell you why it wasn't boring at the time, because we're at 24 states in the country at recreational right
Right.
now. 38, 39 have some form of medical-ish law, right? And it varies from place to place. However, back then we had intractable epilepsy was the only thing that qualified in the state of Missouri to be able to get a med card for CBD, which seems crazy now.
That is
You
crazy.
can get CBD sprinkled
gas
on your,
station.
you can get it
Gas
sprinkled
station.
on your Cheerios, down at the gas station.
Shoney's.
However,
They're
Some
serving
CBD
CBD
on my
drinks.
pancakes.
yes. But there were intractable epilepsy, for everybody who doesn't understand, that's when you've taken every medical procedure and exhausted it, and there's nothing else. And so at that point, your doctor says, there's nothing I can do for you. Then you can go apply for a card to take our CBD. And this was pretty high potency CBD. It was very intense. It was very
Isolate based.
it was isolate based. The extraction process we went through was whole plant for the most part, and so we would do it with 0 THC, or we could do up to 0.3 THC. We all understand now, as much as we've moved into it, that having the THC in it was a bigger trigger. We would have parents and families come in with a child in a wheelchair. And put this in your head. This is a child who can't function, 300, 400, 500 seizures a day. Couldn't go to school, couldn't function, couldn't have friends, couldn't act like a normal child. And these families, this is your family. This is your life, right? When a family has a family member that's in need, we would get some of these, and we've got some of these beautiful stories. These children, within 2, 3, 4 weeks, the moms would come in absolute tears. Their children's back in school with 1 seizure a month.
Wow.
1 seizure a
And that's
week.
just
something
for
like that.
CBD.
And that was the CBD that we were
Right.
doing at that time. So this movement moving forward, that passion that came with us, that's why we were there. We were very comfortable. We were very committed to making a difference. And, for us, the belief world, which has now turned into Sense and Suede and the things that maybe those people who are out there using may not know the belief world, but belief medical kind of comes from that. I mean, that is really our root.
Yeah.
And so then fast forward to get medical approved and to create the opportunity we had. At the time, we had a little warehouse in Earth City. We had a picnic table for a conference room, and there was 4 of us sitting around there, and we're like, hey, I think this medical movement's going to move forward. What do we want to do? Let's create let's move forward with this and do the application process. So moving through that application process from the beginning, trying to understand what the rules are, what they were, what they may be, I mean, it's just crazy going backwards on that right now. I mean, it's real easy now to sit there and say, okay, here's where you're at. This is the line you've reached. But what you don't understand is that there were a million paths that could have been taken at every single point down that road. So, long story long, that's where you get to the point where medical hit, right?
Right.
And so our passion, our involvement in the industry through there was deep, right? And at the time,
just for the fact that it was helping and healing all these people, even on a CBD level with low THC,
and even
concentrates.
know what you know now about the benefits of adding the THC to some of these programs.
Oh, you guys had to be
great.
jacked.
Wow.
Like, I mean, I wasn't even really involved at that point, and then we started doing the CBD stuff, and just found that it was truly helping people.
Yeah.
Like,
we had success with pet level stuff, with animals,
for
all
sure.
those kind of things, you know.
For sure.
So I think it's easy right now. We're in rec. We're early in rec, and it's really sexy in Missouri. It's,
it's
Maryland.
cool.
Maryland just started last week. Maryland had their first weekend of rec sales. They did 10 point something million in their first weekend. Missouri did 12 point something million, and we're half the size of Maryland from a population standpoint, right? So Missouri is really experiencing something really special and really beautiful, but it's really easy right now when we've got all these options and all these great things, and we're the sexy people for the whole country. Every national brand is coming in now and paying attention to Missouri. I joke about it. Various other interviews I've done and talking to people, my background dealing with politics in the state of Missouri, whether it's in Jeff City or D.C., I've never been able to talk about the state of Missouri in the top 25 of anything. So to hear us be number 6,
murder, that's the only other one.
Yes,
you're right.
Yeah. I mean, let's just be honest.
I mean, cannabis,
bits and pieces of it. So now this is where we're at. It's kind of crazy to be able to think about that. And so there's, to unpack everything that's happened in the middle of that, Toph, to answer your initial question that I've taken forever to answer, and I'm going to blame Wyatt for the joints that just went out.
Yeah, Wyatt can't keep it lit.
Does Wyatt?
Jesus,
does he have a job? Because I need a lighter.
Come on, let's get this over here.
Who's
I
got
got
a lighter?
I got you.
That's right. Yeah, all right. Thank you. Oh, look at that.
I have a sense one upstairs,
okay.
but
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Mind if
I normally keep it down here. I keep the
if I
sense
take a
lighter.
pause?
I normally keep the sense lighter.
Like, you kind of bust my balls on the CBD side, and I get
I do,
it.
but
I get it
because
but
I'm a
there's
stoner. I'm a stoner, bro.
I get it.
And that's
I get
why.
it.
But I will say this: people like you, and in discussions like this, it's always changed my mind. It starts to change my mind because we've really dug deep into some of the ratios, right? When you're mixing THC with CBGs and CBNs and the different kinds of high. Now I'm kind of like, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really am excited about learning more about it. Like CBD, I'm always going to make jokes about it because, I got to. This is now my thing.
It's like somebody who drinks Busch Light.
Yeah, hey, you gross, bro.
Like, why'd you drink the real Busch, man? Yeah, right. You get all that shit.
So but I do, and as we talk about it, and we talk about patients, and we talk about the benefits of it, I could only imagine, when you're seeing the benefits of CBD in that market, and that's your sole business, being able to add the benefits of the THC and have the full spectrum of the plant. God, that just might have boner city. What a turn on for us.
I think to me the best thing about all of it is to be able to come all the way through this and see it now, and we still have people in every facet of cannabis consumption gaining some benefit. We all have these conversations, and the cannabis world, we all want to get together, licensees and products and brands, and we're all here for all these various reasons. At the end of the day, there's a significant portion, right? 80%, 90%, I don't know the number, who just want to freaking get stoned, right? They just want to relax, and it's an alternative to, what we're doing right now by drinking a beer or kicking the dog, whatever that may be, right?
Right.
So it is, it's this beautiful plant that creates all these opportunities. And when we talk about the medicinal benefit, when we talk about the real benefit, it's easy to look at these specific cases where somebody gets out of a wheelchair and they don't have seizures, where somebody's dealing with, Toph, we had a conversation today via text about the RSO progress, right? Everything that's occurring there.
Which would not be, let's just say that real quick. the RSO treatment we did for Bobby, that would have been a fucking highly illegal operation that we would have had to pull off to help someone reduce their fucking cancer, which we found out, just an update, this week, that the cancer spots have been reduced since the
on
RSO
his
treatment.
lungs. They're
On his
gone.
lung, they're gone.
There was 4 of them.
4 of them, and they're gone. So,
And I read a lot about the RSO.
but like I said, it would have been illegal. This would have been a shady shit. We could have been in prison for it,
Yeah.
and it's fucking crazy.
Be like moonshiners out there. With the
Fuck.
federales
Oh,
coming
shit.
in.
I don't think we'd have lab coats. It'd be camouflage coats in the woods making RSO.
He bought us
know?
these nice lab coats. They're really sweet. You can put them on when we
Make
mix stuff up.
You guys look like I'd like this whole Halloween nurses outfit. Thing for the two of you.
Yeah.
I don't know why that just popped in my head.
Oh, you're freaky.
We don't know why
I gotta
either.
check back.
We're questioning why that popped in your head.
Yes, you know why. These are midget-sized.
Yeah.
nuns
Oh, yeah.
that-
See, he's got my
and
weak
dressed
point.
like, yeah, exactly, nurses.
So, we talked about this too. Just your involvement too on the political side,
Yeah.
and what that took. I think it took wise people, like we were talking earlier. Sometimes when you get older, it could be a curse or not. You're either wise, they look at you as wiser. And I think having the right people in there to talk to our politicians, and I think that was something that you were instrumental in a lot of ways too, to help kind of push the laws that we have and get them to where they were at.
Yeah. And this is an ongoing battle that's nonstop, right? So whether it be the trade association, whether it be the individual license holders, and I would make the argument that I think that the consumers should be very conscious of some of these decisions being made locally, statewide, and nationally as it relates to
Agreed.
all things related to this. So we've been very blessed in Missouri, right? So we talk about Amendment 2, Amendment 3, which is, Amendment 2 medical, Amendment 3, which is rec, and Article 14, which is the part of the, I know it sounds nerdy, so if you can just picture a little bill sitting on Capitol Hill.
Dude,
Right?
I got it. I got it.
Saying,
I got it.
yeah,
It's good.
I
I
got
would
a
have
scroll
one.
right
I would
here.
have a
And if you
picture.
pass that thing to me one more time, we're going to have to do the conjunction junction. My English is going
I'll
to go to
spice it
shit
in.
really quick.
Yeah.
Everybody mellow.
I'm just so,
So
happy
what is
you're
the-
old enough to even know what I'm talking
The third bill, it's just a bill, bro.
Wyatt has no idea.
Well, another thing that's coming up too, even on the political side, that it's gone one step forward with even the micro licenses that are about to be.
Oh, man, that's a
released,
whole
too.
other
That's a
thing.
whole other
Oh, my God.
market. I mean,
yeah, and that kudos to Missouri. I think the concept, and I'll just go into there's going to be some people who may not necessarily agree with my approach on this, but there is a legitimate reason to understand why the history of cannabis has been unfair towards certain people of various different backgrounds, right?
Yes.
So let's just call it what it is. When jazz music and the blues became very, very popular, jazz musicians were very much involved in
Cannabis.
the original cannabis movement, right?
Yes.
And it was super important and it was super popular and it was something that glued. There was a lot of amazing Louis Armstrong. These people felt like smoking marijuana allowed them to be creative.
Right.
And there was a fear factor that came through that. And about that time, Prohibition hit. And so, like it or not, this is a country of rules and it's a country of politics. And sometimes the politics rule, right?
Yeah.
And so in this particular case, Prohibition hits and instantly marijuana is outlawed.
Right.
Now, go through all the reasons why. Who knows what? There's a lot of speculation in there. But the reality of it is, here we are now fighting back against this thing. And, Toph, when you and I talked earlier about this, and you mentioned, you made a joke about the stills, but you're right. It took a full generation to get the stills out of the hills, right? It took a full generation for people to realize that making their own whiskey was eventually going to not be nearly as fun because A, you had to drive a really fast car to get away, or B, you had to risk, getting murdered or getting killed or something like doing a deal. Right. So fast forward, the guys who drove the really fast car said, hey, let's drive in circles and let's call it NASCAR, right? That's where it came from. So we are in a process now, 1933, Prohibition ends and alcohol comes down all at once. Since 2014 to 2023, almost 2024 now, it's taken 10 years of this crawling end of prohibition in cannabis to get there. It's going to take a generation for everybody who is growing, not the legal home grows, but the people who are illegally growing, and they're out there, and they are making a big difference and a big dent on the industry. And the more we can do to get moving forward, the better off we're going to be, right? So the closer we get to being able to solve that, the better off we're going to be.
Yeah, and I truly believe in, 50, 100 years, or probably less than 100 years, that cannabis would be, like right now it's so freaking weird, like only 24 states and some are medical and some are, but in 50 to 100 years, every state, it's going to be like alcohol, where you can go into QT and basically buy a pack of cannabis, I believe. Right now it's got to be this way. It's a way of spoon feeding a culture into accepting it in a way, and okay, well, we got regulations, so you can, and then so start loosening that.
It's on a roll.
But there's a good point. The regulations are not all bad.
No, I agree. I agree.
So you move through that.
But like alcohol, it's just like alcohol.
Yeah, alcohol is very regulated.
Alcohol is different. They flipped the switch all at once, like we talked about earlier. With cannabis, it's like I said, it's like a spoon feeling. Like, oh, okay. Yeah. But eventually, I think we'll get there.
Oh yeah. I think so. Absolutely.
Where it's not going to be all of this.
Hopefully sooner than not.
I think we're already there, guys. I mean, I'm blessed. I get to travel quite a bit. Most of it work related. But, I'm in states that are the furthest from being next to pass it. And when you're in that part of town
Texas.
where I get to
Texas,
where I Deep Ellum go to see music and hang out, right, or go find other places. It's there, right?
Right.
That aroma is there. And some people get offended by it. I appreciate that. Some people get offended by Old Spice deodorant. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Right.
When I smell there is a
cigars.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of love. If you are in this industry or you have a passion for this industry and you smell somebody smoking flower and you don't feel love, then you're really not in this industry for the right reason, right?
Right.
And that's what it is. And I don't care where I'm at. I'm walking through a train station in New York, wherever around the country I end up on my crazy travels. I smell it, and I'll instantly turn, and their first reaction is, oh, and they'll hide it, they'll put it behind them, whatever. And I'm like, you just keep spreading the love, brother. Whatever you're doing right now is good. And somebody somewhere, you're going to trigger some memory from when they were 13 years old and they smoked weed for the first time with Cliff Brown. And
shout out to Cliff
on a boys club, St. Charles Boys Club football trip.
Oh boy,
yeah.
Shout out to Boys Club,
St. Charles.
St. Charles.
Yeah,
not St. Peter's.
Well, is it really? It switches. St. Peter's Boys Club?
No, it's St. Charles.
It was always St. Charles. Yeah.
Topher and I have this thing.
No, gotcha.
He's St. Peter's. I'm St. Charles.
I will say. I will say this too about we're
Ford and Chevy.
It is kind of, but St. Peter's is like classier. I mean, that's the
Here we go.
My first job ever was in St. Peter's at Panteras Pizza.
Oh yeah, Johnny Creasy worked there too. Yeah.
We go to there's one in O'Fallon. You know that, right?
That's the only one left.
Shout out to Panteras Pizza,
Pizza.
O'Fallon, Scotty Gherkin, home of the hunk.
Dude, that honk.
I will say this.
Oh my God, I will tell you this much.
I will.
There was a period of time where delivering pizzas to lonely women who didn't have tips.
Very lucrative.
It was awesome.
Very lucrative.
No, it didn't. I mean, it wasn't. There was no money involved.
No,
There was
obviously, a lot of condoms
This
were
sexy
involved.
bastard here, right?
I know.
He comes in and tells
walking
me,
with a
I got
pizza.
lucky. Dude, I delivered pizzas. That shit never
Right,
happened to
the
me.
ugliest women ordered pizzas
Dude,
from
the only
me.
thing I was delivering for Emo's Pizza. And
Nobody's going to give you sex for emos. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Thin crust, bro.
Pantera's had
Their
the beef, man.
expectations are low.
So no, I go up to the door and this little kid's come running the door. He's like, Mommy, the pizza guy's here. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck, man, I'm the pizza guy.
Oh, shit.
I was like, what the fuck am I doing? So I gave the pizzas to him. I never went back. I still have that Emo's
Oh,
bag.
my God.
I'm like, I'm the pizza guy.
I'm the pizza guy.
Shit.
I will say this.
I was high as shit at the time, too.
One thing you hit
He's
on.
trying to focus.
I
Sorry.
know. You guys get me high and shit. And then sidetracked on fucking pizza.
Try to have some fun, will you? Come on.
Here's the
man.
deal. So I will say this. I'm going to say it again. I've said it before. The thing about the industry that we were just kind of hitting on is the passion for it. Everybody in this industry, from the people that I've met from the top to the bottom of this industry,
Yeah, you said this when we went to
fucking passionate about the plant, right? And you just don't find that. Like, who's getting excited about fucking Tide, detergent? Like, is the people at Tide, like, from the top down, like, fuck Tide, dude, Tide. I'm going to wear a Tide shirt today. They're not, but everybody on every level in this industry is so passionate about the plant. And if they're not, I don't know, I'll tell you guys, get rid of them, because there's people that are, that can do the job. Then that's the most amazing point I want to make, because they can do the job. A CEO is not some stoner up there going, hey, man, let's do bong hits and dab it and dab it all day. But they do like cannabis, and they might do that fucking maybe 4 days a week. I don't know. But the point is they can do the job of CEO. They could do it there, or they could do it at Pepsi, or they could do it at Sprite. And I think in every level, from the marketing to the CEOs and the CIOs, I think that's really cool to see. I've never seen an industry like that. You're never going to see an industry like that. I don't think.
Hey, in order to bring this much volume to a market with quality and assurance that it's done right, quality packaging, quality marketing, good logistics,
right?
It's a company, right?
Right.
So basic numbers. The state of Missouri, we're a good 4 years since we passed, started getting into spending money. Let's put it that way, right? Right now, the cannabis industry in Missouri, just the licensees, not the accounting firms, not the law firms, not the anybody else who did it. There's nearly $1 billion of cash invested into the cannabis industry in Missouri to build out 200 plus dispensaries, 70 plus cultivations, 88, 90 manufacturing facilities.
Jeez.
We're close to $1 billion. And guys, this isn't money you don't go borrow this from a bank, right? This is
the reserves.
I will tell you,
digging up grandma's jar in the backyard.
In belief, this came out of our cookie jars for those of us who started the company.
Right.
And we brought on investors. Yes, we did that, but you can't borrow the money because of the banking laws, right? Because of IRS 280E, we pay close to 80% federal taxes when you compare us to a normal business. So all these things. I'm not complaining. Don't worry. I'm in it for all the right reasons.
Right.
But I'm just saying it is a very challenging industry to be able to move forward and make these things happen.
And you had sent me the article that I talked about earlier a couple weeks ago. Is 24% of cannabis businesses actually profit?
Yeah.
That's incredible odds.
Yeah.
That's for So there's a lot going against us on that.
And the delicate part of this though is, if you love the plant and you have respect for the culture, you don't have to love the culture. I happen to, but
there's different aspects
you have to
of
respect
the culture.
Yeah. And the culture goes all the way from people who are feeling ill to people who need this for various different reasons, or people who just want to party.
Right.
But there's a culture that goes along with it.
Right.
I'm sitting here in a room with pictures of Cheech and Chong and all these various different things, and I love that. I grew up with that.
Right.
First HBO I got. Up in Smoke was on. It was either Up in Smoke or The Deep with Jacqueline Bisset. And for anybody on here who needs to Google Jacqueline Bisset,
yep.
Man, oh man,
back in those days,
that woman had the best set of headlights I've ever seen in a T-shirt. What? Anyways, I digress.
Check it out.
Yeah, we're all distracted.
We need to
here.
put the
Would
picture
you,
up there right
would
here.
you cut to a break real quick?
Yeah, check it.
We're all distracted. All
Yeah, we can cut to a break real quick.
I got to use the bathroom.
I will say this: why it's been hounding me. So apparently, we got these grown pearls. Okay, this is a hybrid. It's a sour apple. It's 100 milligram. It's one, right? So this is just one here, 100 milligram. And then he's got, and this is sour apple, right? And then he's got this strawberry habanero. Now I've heard about the strawberry habanero. My boy Brandon, Missouri Wild Alchemy, said this was really badass. So why it's saying now is that this is a new thing. Kids are doing this now. So I'm not going to be a boomer anymore if I do this. We're going to take half of each.
Okay.
In a flavor profile and see what this.
Oh, you're going to cut it in half.
Yeah. So apparently it's supposed to be.
Can we go through the basics of an edible? If you cut an edible in half, people.
Yes, do it.
You are not guaranteed. So if you take a 10 milligram edible and cut it in half, you are not guaranteed 5 milligrams.
Although with Green you are.
Although with Grün you are.
Homogenized.
It's homogenized, of course. There,
Homogenized.
I will also say, in Wyatt's defense,
We've always said that though, because you're right.
That Christine Smith, who's the founder of Grün, is probably one of my dearest friends, and I have nothing but a ton of respect from her. She also started in the confectionaries.
Yeah,
chocolates, CBD world.
Apparently, her chocolates are like Canada was ruled by her chocolates because I mean they're so amazing.
It's called the chocolate rule in Canada.
Yeah,
actually.
no
It's the Grün chocolate rule.
There is a law now. You have to eat the chocolate has to be Grün.
Yeah, it's kind of like everybody has to hate the new guy on Keishi.
All right, so we're gonna try half and half and see.
Fuck you, man.
I don't have a knife. A knife on you? Yeah.
I'm the only guy that still drinks his coffee on a Monday morning out of a sweetmeat with a joint in its mouth.
Do you really?
So
that's sad.
Dude, the story about that's
you
crazy
know why?
too. At one time they had gotten rid of the joint.
They
in his
took it
mouth.
away.
Yeah,
I know.
And then they put it back. Yeah.
I also have a Keishi T-shirt that I keep in my motorcycle just in case it gets sweated out in Arizona. I have to change. So
what size are you?
At this point, X much.
Wow.
No,
You can tell me later.
Double X, yeah.
Okay.
No, so I will tell you this. So here's what's crazy.
got
That flavor's
You're
really good.
You know what? I went
good.
to drink coffee out of my K-Wolf coffee cup the other day. I couldn't find the motherfucker. I don't know what happened to it.
Wow. Wow. This motherfucker.
No.
Wow.
He ran out of room
So
in the cabinet.
here's what. Here's what I'm hoping for is
Oh,
Katie
makes sense, good?
Cruz.
Yeah,
Katie
that's good.
Cruz to deliver me a K-Wolf coffee mug.
Yeah.
I think that would be the best thing ever.
I think we can get that done.
Yeah,
we can get that
I'm
done.
in with that.
Katie's
Get that done.
coffee journeys. Next,
Oh my God.
All K's.
Yeah.
Katie's Coffee's Kearney. Can you put a J? Can you make a K look like a J? Umlauts. Just put umlauts over the J and you pronounce it like a K.
Yeah, it's half silent.
Yeah, see, you can do it. Like, put them together. See, you're done.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's good.
Bam.
Okay, so real quick,
that.
so you were talking about. So Grün says that you could cut it in half. You're going to get half of what you say is in there. Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
because it's
I just took them
homogenized.
both. So man,
But like you said, not all edibles are like that.
There is only one Grün, I will say. I'm plugging one of my dearest friends'
No,
company,
you-
so I'm super good with this. To all my other Belief Suede
what is,
fans and
what's,
everybody out there. Teal,
the-
those guys are great friends. I will tell you, this is one of the beautiful things. I don't know if you guys have really talked about it. I know you've had Adolphus on, so you've had some other licensees on. We have a really beautiful, loving, energetic space in Missouri. I mean, you talked about the passion. You guys went, I think the
MoCan.
first time you went to the MoCan Trade Association
Yeah.
in Kansas City, sat there and talked to you guys there. And, I've been telling Topher about this for a while. And then our other good buddy, Brian, he's there. It's kind of his first full-on one now that he's in the industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known this for years because we've watched MoCan Trade start from scratch.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know it, Missouri's one of our keys to success is we have a very active trade association. And so almost every licensee, every company in the state participates. So we have a single voice as an industry when there are industry things. Now, individual business owners, business. We all got
Right.
to win, right? I'm going to put something on sale today. You're going to put something on sale tomorrow. That's fine. But at the end of the day, when you're in it for the right reason, because of the passion and the love, and I think Missouri is one of those unique states. The reason we're ahead of states that are 20, 30, 40% larger than us is because the industry is working so hard to make sure we're delivering the best to the ultimate users and the customers, right? Who are there? Customers, patients, right? And we have both. So I just that goes unsaid so much. Missouri is not getting credit for the fact that these various different. You could throw 100 other products on here, and I can say these are all these people. They've been here since the beginning and helped Missouri get to where we've gotten to. Right. That's so unique.
Right.
I just think
agree.
it's so unique.
And we went to MoCan, the quarterly thing, and it was amazing. Just just what you described, the camaraderie between everybody.
I noticed you both missed my speech. You weren't there.
I was.
Were you
I
there?
was there.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
Were you guys the ones asleep in the front row?
No, I was about.
I was in the back
I was
of
like
seats.
17th row.
I was actually standing in
you
the back
walked
'cause
up
I
there-
came in a
Were
little
you the
late.
one clapping?
Yeah, that was
He was the one. He did walk up there looking like the Big Lebowski. He had like some slides on, no socks.
I was in the back like, woo!
Yeah. The camaraderie was great, and you're right. We'll talk about MoCan and what they do because I've tried to explain it to people, about the super PAC and kind of what what Mocan Trade is. I was really wanting to know more about that as well.
Yeah, so
'Cause you're on the board of that, right?
I'm a past board member, advisory board member, but
Now
I'm
you're the mayor or something like that.
chairman of the Political Action Committee.
Okay.
I'm the guy that nobody wants a phone call from.
No,
because, we need your money to ensure that our elected officials have as much love for this industry as all the people who are involved in it.
Right.
So yeah,
Right.
it's all good. So Missouri Cannabis Trade Commission was the product of about 4 or 5 people from this industry. More than that, but initially, and some of those are my partners. Mitch Myers, at the time, John Curtis were very involved, and they both had history in Colorado and Illinois. And one of the challenges that the industries faced was not having this single voice, right? You had competing trade associations, right? You had multiple. You got dispensary trade association. You got manufacturing. You got cultivation. You got Southern Missouri or Southern this state, Northern this state, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So before
We're Branson.
Yeah. Before anything passed, before any of the amendments passed, Mocan Trade was founded with some donations to be able to set this trade association up. And so from that time, we have been able to grow to where I think we've got 90%, 88, 90%
It's
participation.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
With the licensees in the state, right? Yeah. And it is very much pro-business, pro-growth, pro-job for the cannabis industry concept. And we have now, we all hate to say this. Again, it's that 800-pound gorilla. We want to just believe that, smoking weed, getting high, using it for medicinal purposes. It's all about love. It's all about awesome. It's about money. And when there's money involved, right, it costs money to plant it, costs money to buy it, and it costs money to smoke it. And whether it's legal or not, that's always been the case. So let's not lose the fact that weed has always been a business.
Exactly.
And weed's always been corporate.
Right.
The only people who want to bitch about weed being corporate are the people who used to be corporate.
Yeah.
And now they're black,
Right.
black market stuff. Right.
Look, my dealer didn't pay for his brand new Fiero working at Taco Bell. Let me tell you that back in the 80s.
Brand new Fiero.
So,
what color? It was
red. Of course.
Red.
They were all red.
I would have thought maybe your dealer was a light Fiero.
No, there was white
There
ones
was a
too.
white Fiero.
Was there a yellow one?
I think there was a powder blue.
No, yellow was not cool. I don't think it's cool back then. I don't think there was a yellow
No,
Fiero.
there wasn't yellow. There was
Black.
a yellow Corvette.
Yellow.
Yeah, there was a
Lamborghinis
yellow
are my
Corvette.
favorite.
And some bitchin' Camaros, but other than that,
It always a
really
bitchin'
not much.
Camaro. Every Camaro was bitchin', actually.
It's a belly button. It's a belly button. You know what that means, don't you?
Bitchin' Camaro.
Everybody has a belly button. Everybody had a Camaro back then.
They did.
It was a belly button.
And the Camaros were cooler. They were
They
cooler.
did. There was a ton of those.
They're cooler. It's weird. The back of the Camaro always had felt in it, though.
Well, that was because you wanted to lay out. You could put that seat down. You could pop that seat
belly
down.
button joke. Come on, stick with me here, man. If I'm going to talk at a higher level,
Well, bro.
I need you to move with me.
Yeah, well,
Damn.
I don't know. You kind of went deep. He went deep in that belly button thing. Kind of scared me. I was like, I don't want to go any
Hold the
lower.
felt out?
That was with my uncle.
You don't want to go for nothing below the belly button for you? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm just
You're
like
a terrible second date.
there was no chest action. It just went straight down to the belly button. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to feel a little
You didn't even
uncomfortable.
touch my nipples on the way
Assholes.
down.
It's crazy. Was that the
Wasn't
second
even
date?
corded.
Was that the second date or the third date?
This is what we got to from Mocan Trade. This is how we got.
So Dagger is very
Wyatt's
good.
Wyatt's the one who handed me the joint. I'm just gonna say.
So
Mocan Trade. So
you got 90% of the industry. I mean, that's like your dispensaries, people that licensees.
all transportation, testing, cultivation, manufacturing, and then in the ancillary market too, right? So the accounting firms who are specializing it, the banks who are. I mean, we lose sight of the fact that this industry, Missouri's on pace to do $1.2 billion in cannabis this year. Mm-hmm. That's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Because we were doing $4,000 a month as the industry doing CBD, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month, right? And so now all of a sudden the entire state's doing $1.2 billion. You move forward in this, and so there are accounting firms, law firms, there's construction companies, all these who are benefiting. They're also involved in this,
Yeah, we saw all their displays and stuff.
Yep.
That's what surprised me was like the entire industry was in one place.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was amazing.
And
lawyers, accountants. I mean, it was awesome.
I even found myself talking to them. Well, you know,
Really?
I mean, but you saw like all the cool people, you know, like
I kept telling him, I'm like, you gotta go talk to.
but then I would go talk to the
They're like, hey, isn't that guy from
Nerd.
Diamond Music Hall? I'm like, yeah, it is. Like,
It's Toking with Topher.
Oh, yeah, it's Toking with Topher.
Toking with Topher.
It's a good Diamond Music Hall guy.
I get a little sign that says with Scott and Scotty.
I like it.
I'm just gonna draw it and stick it up.
I thought you were still on probation.
No.
Do you get the name? You don't get the little name until you're off probation.
He's got to change his name to like Todd or something with a T. You know, like Toking with Topher and Todd, or Toking with Tom and Topher, or Toking with Teddy and Topher. You know, Toking with
my name almost was Tobias.
Tim and Topher or something. You know, Tobias.
I was almost named Tobias.
Change it for Tobias for the show.
Topher and Toby. There you go.
Toby and Topher. Toking with Toby and Topher.
Toby.
Say that 10 times. People would never be able to do it.
Just TT. Yes. It's a therapeutic event.
I do have some things. So I got a couple of things. First of all, my computer crashed last week. I lost everything. So like my Mofo 20 news.
This is the new one?
It's the new one. This is the new one. Got it all set up. That's why there's no stickers. And I don't have my Mofo 20 news fucking logo. But I do got some Mofo 20 news that I want Kevin Riggs to wage in on, because I think it's a kind of a great story, and I want to see how it's going to impact marijuana banking bill signed into law by Missouri governor. Missouri's marijuana business will have fewer obstacles when it comes to accessing banking. But they must now get fingerprint background checks, and all new employees and contractors under legislation under Mike Parsons signed on Thursday. Fewer banks nationwide serve cannabis businesses and their owners, or even their auxiliary partners, because most don't want anything to do with it, because it's against federal law. What is this bill? I mean, obviously fingerprints. I mean, that's not really. I mean, that doesn't concern me as much, because I thought, you know, I mean, it's. What is the actual bill going to do for us?
Yeah, so I'll do my best to not butcher it, but essentially, and by the way, the governor, Mike Parsons, who is an ex-law enforcement officer, who ironically you wouldn't expect to necessarily be an advocate for the industry, he has been. He has always ensured that we've gotten the best we can get, and I really appreciate that. Right, the governor has been very good in a really, really red state.
Right.
So when I get to this, I'll explain this to you. Here's why this matters. Missouri is the deepest red state, so we can all sit here and bitch about politics, and you can attach the cult of personality to people's politics. I believe in policy as opposed to the personality. So when you limit yourself to that and you move through this, we have an opportunity in the state of Missouri. Again, we talked about this earlier. Missouri is now in the top 5 in cannabis. It makes no fucking sense to me in the world, because
Right.
Missouri is in the bottom half of everything.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, educate. I mean, go through it. Right. It's literally. It's probably why we're so good in
Graduated
marijuana.
Zumo, bro. I know.
Because Missouri passed overwhelmingly, by the way. You know, it seemed close, 3 or 4 percentage a difference. But when you look at the last 10 presidential races, they've not been 4, 5, 6 point spreads. You know, they've been a half a point spread. So this is a big win in politics today. And so for a state who is traditionally red in something that has been traditionally assigned a blue, for no reason other than that's just kind of the way people have changed the perception on it.
Yeah.
You know, we all know this. Cannabis has nothing but perceptions, right?
Right.
So reality is so different than perception. So in order for us to be able to have this benefit of this strong of a red state, we have an obligation to the rest of the country for our culture, because our country is very evenly divided, right? To say the least. And so if those who are in historically red states, hard red leaning states, can prove to those people who are in the blue states and the rest who are in red states who won't take this step next, we can be leaders in this. So we have an opportunity to be the first state to be able to do
working.
this. So here's here's what we've done is I think Missouri, because of MoCan trade, we were talking about earlier, because of the people who've chosen to get involved in this and win these licenses and work, essentially work for free for years to be able to make anything happen, we have one of the most professional states in this cannabis industry in the country. We've learned a lot. There's states who they fought the battles, they died on the sword. I mean, I won't name them, but there's some West Coast states that they had a difficult time, and they were fighting battles that we can't even imagine, carrying bags of money and, whatever, delivering stuff. Who knows what kind of crazy shit they had to do to be able to make it work. So now fast forward to little old Missouri, and we've got a governor, we've had a legislature, both sides of the aisle, and we've had statewide elected officials who've been willing to say, this is the law, this is what was passed, I'm a constitutionalist, and here's what we've said we're going to do as a state, we're going to do it. So this is one more opportunity where this came forward. Now, the crux of this is really about communication, so banks can now share and communicate information back and forth freely without fear of without getting in trouble from a federal standpoint.
Okay.
So that was really kind of the root of this. And so Missouri's done a couple of these now. So Missouri passed their version of 280E.
But right? I don't understand that. Like, okay, federally, like how does it affect it federally?
It doesn't.
Okay. It doesn't, like, the feds still could come into Missouri and be like, hey, we're just going to screw with you guys.
Is it the FDIC that has something to do with the banks because they won't insure the money?
Well, yeah, you can't insure.
Because it's federally insured and it's not federally legal.
Yeah, so banking industry, whole other
that's a whole other thing. But I'm trying to stick to the bill, and what does that sharing of information mean? So the banks can now share information with the state on...
No, they can communicate amongst each other. So financial institutions can publish and communicate with each other. And I guarantee you right now, there's 20 people who worked on the bill that are like, Kevin, you're butchering this up. But I'm going to get to the end result. The result is it's very good. It is a step forward. It doesn't change anything federally. Missouri can't change anything.
Obviously, right.
But Missouri did pass their own function of tax reform as it relates to cannabis. One of the first states in the country to do it. Again, hard red, right? I've been to D.C., you know this. I was up there talking to various different legislators on both sides of the aisle and just simply explaining and educating. So if you can think back to what they had to do in California, Colorado, and Arizona when they first popped this stuff in 2008, 2010, and we got some strange version of the medical world that was beginning then, right? All homegrown medical. That's what they were doing, is they were just educating one person at a time, one place at a time, one day at a time. And that's what we've got to start doing nationally. And because Missouri has people in leadership in Washington, D.C., some of these people, Senator Eric Schmidt, passed the first marijuana law in the state of Missouri. That doesn't mean he's pro everything cannabis, but there's a chance that we've got someone who's going to listen to us, who's worked with us through this. And so I would just encourage everybody who are cannabis users to really put cannabis first when they go to the ballot box, right? When they start making decisions about policies and politics, instead of personalities, make sure that that person, Republican, Democrat, Independent, is pro-cannabis, right? Make sure that they are somebody who at least understands it and is willing to give it a fair shake.
Is there a list of those names somewhere?
There are various different places that do rank it. I wish I would have.
We can research that too.
Yeah, I'll plug it back to you guys. I know we've got some. So in the state of Missouri,
that way you know who you're voting for and who's on your side. Who's
definitely. That's definitely something we would want to keep broadcasting. I would think.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a whole Muppets thing. It's the Cannabis Coalition.
Yeah. No, I mean that's great. So I like the fact that our government is working now to there seems to be constant work on honing in this industry, which maybe it's not as fast as some people want it to be, but at least it's forward. Like micro license. Like I don't know, is there other
big step?
Is there another state that's doing micro licenses?
There. Yeah. So Illinois had some that they went through this process on. Missouri's got it. I know there's been 2 or 3 other states that have done a version of it. One of the things about cannabis, Missouri is was 21st or 22nd to do rec, and we're now up to 24.
Right.
And every state is uniquely different.
Yeah.
And if you go to every state right before they're getting ready to go rec, they also, they're smarter than everybody who went before them, right? And we were that way in Missouri. I can say that because we were that. And we're now talking to other people from other states that are about to come on and say,
help them out.
How can I help you?
Right.
Well, we're here. What can I do?
Right.
And how do we move this forward? New York is just going through. You talk about a crazy thing. I mean, the state of New York's a whole episode just to be able to talk about and understand what's happening there.
Yeah.
And it is this. How do we do what we want to do to preserve the culture and to create a quality product and still learn from all these things that have gone on for the past 10, 15 years in moving forward, right? And lessons learned in Colorado led to lessons learned in California, led to lessons learned in Oregon, and vice versa, Washington, Arizona, and now we move forward. A lot of those lessons, Missouri, I think, was wise in being able to figure that out. Now, something people don't understand is not every state has an initiative petition. I mean, we're very fortunate in the state of Missouri for the voters to be able to choose to put it on the ballot. Not every state can do that. Most of the states on the western half of the country can. You have various places that are not actually founded as states. Texas was founded as a republic. You've got Tennessee, Kentucky. They were not founded as original states. They were commonwealths. So they can't put those initiative petitions on. They have to deal with a state legislature passing a law, which means they can change that law. We passed a constitutional amendment. You can't change anything in the constitutional amendments we passed in the state of Missouri without another 2/3 vote of the people. So you talk about investment. We talk about what's bringing people to this state. I'd rather invest in something that I have a much more positive understanding that it's going to remain consistent and it's not going to change tomorrow on the winds of politics, right?
Right.
Or anything like that. So it's just one more thing. Again, I'm super braggy about my state, for the first time in my life.
No kidding.
But it's really great. I think it's spectacular. I think it says a lot to the people who put Amendment 2 together. And John Payne and his group, and everything they did, they went and they learned and they watched and they listened. And so we've got it right, and we are absolutely an example for the rest of the country.
Agreed.
Forward.
Yeah, and I think that's really exciting. I like that. I think they've done a really good job here. I got one more story for you. Missouri Growers Cup brings a cannabis competition KC will recognize. The first ever Missouri Growers Cup is combining the Kansas City Metro's longtime love of competition over a craft like barbecuing with its much newer industry, cannabis. Judging on all four of these things, taste, look, smell, high, said Oregon Tech's Nathan Marsh, who is helping run the event and run similar competitions in other states. You've got to be great at all of those things. You've got to have a pleasant experience and effect on the customer. You've got to have a good taste, look good, and smell good. He says these competitions like this allow the industry to come together and appreciate what used to be strictly underground as a community. The Growers Cup is really about paying respects to and honoring some of the growers in the state of Missouri, said Bessa Hospitality Group's Joey Pentozzi, which runs Smoky River Entertainment District, where the Growers Cup will be hosted. It's fresh off the 420 Fest in April, which I think you guys had something down there at that entertainment district.
We did.
So really right on, guys. So get ready. I guess it's coming up here. Let's see if there's a date on this. I did not see one. Yep. Okay, here we go. It says, looks like Smoker Entertainment is getting ready to have more events, so it doesn't really say a date. Oh, Growers Cup is September 23rd. So if you go to Smoky River Entertainment District, they'll have some information on that, and we'll put a link up here so you can go to it and go check it out, man. I mean, if you're a grower, go do it. That sounds cool. I mean, I like that kind of stuff. I mean,
Smoky River's doing a great job. I mean, they've really embraced
man, I've
the
heard
Kansas
so much.
City side. They're doing a nice job.
Yeah, I've
our
heard
whole
so
team
much.
was over there for 420.
Yeah.
It was great. They nothing but good things to say about those guys.
Wait, wasn't that the big concert? Wasn't that?
Yeah, they had a big concert there.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all sitting over here like, yeah, we had nothing. It was horrible here. I mean, we had our party at Diamond, which was actually pretty good, but Hang on, we went to
Who
some
showed
stores.
up there? It was
Horrible.
like Dr. Dre or something?
No,
or?
it was like a Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz-
No, it was
Yeah.
Burner, and
I don't know.
And Ric
I
Flair
wouldn't
was there
tell
too,
you that.
right?
Yeah,
And
Ric Flair
probably
was
would
there.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
MissouriGrowersCup.com. If you go to MissouriGrowersCup.com, you can find out all the information. Tickets will be available soon. It's September 23rd, 2023. Kansas City is doing some really kick-ass stuff in the cannabis world. Been out there, and man, I was pretty impressed. So that's really cool. That's all I have for Toking with Topher today. Thank you, Kevin Riggs, for being in and
Yeah,
giving
thank
us
you
some
for coming by.
information.
Shout always, guys.
Wyatt, thank you for running the board. As
thank
always,
you.
Scott and I will be here checking out the cannabis and bringing it to you. Best thing you guys can do is like, share everything that we put out. Tell people, all the stoners, if you have some show ideas, whatever you want, give us an email at stoner@tokingwithtopher.com.